Hey guys, happy fabulous Friday. We're going to be doing our card. I have some of the parts of our card already cut out, but we're going to have to finish designing it while we're live, but that's okay. I kind of like that too. There we go. I want to make sure we're straight. I think we're straight. Don't forget that I'm having my $10 class and my $10 at 10 class on February 10th, which is a Saturday. Okay, this is bothering me. My OCD bothers me when it's all crooked. There we go. My $10 at 10 class on Friday or Saturday, the February 10th. And we make 2 cards with envelopes, and it's, I don't know, we just have such a fun time. We just get together, a bunch of us ladies, we make a couple cards. It's at this, it's here in San Antonio. It's not going to be online, but it will be here in person. It's my first in person since my knee surgery, so I'm super excited to do our little live again. You guys probably wonder why I have to move this light every time. If I don't move this light, the cats knock it over. It's like an OTT light, and it's really nice. I mean, you know, OTT lights are expensive, and they've knocked it over a few times, and I'm like, really, dude? Anyway, so that's why I always move the light every time we're on here. And look I just dusted, and now all this dust went everywhere. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Okay, so I have a couple ideas today. I decided I wanted us to use Notes of Nature, which is this fun stamp set, which I don't like botanicals. You know, I don't really do anything with florals or botanicals. You know, like if you watch my stuff, I don't really love that for some reason. But you know what I do love is I love text, and I love school supplies, and I love stuff like that. So when the dies, I saw the stamps. Well, first I saw this little stamp here, which I thought was really interesting. I liked that, and I liked this grid paper look. But then the dies have this little 3-hole punch deal going on the side. And then they've got a bunch of botanicals, which we're going to use some of these botanicals to cut out some leaves, I think. We're going to have to do the designing of that on the fly here. There is one more little die. It's like half the size of this. And sure enough, as I was putting it on the little magnet, it went flying onto the ground. I dropped it onto the ground. I'm going to have to search for it later. Can't search for it right now. So, but we'll be using those in a minute. So we've got that. And Rhino Ready, which is one of my all-time favorite stamps. I don't know. I love the little rhino. I just think they're so cute. They're just so sweet. This one's my favorite rhino. It really is my favorite rhino. I've used him the most, I think. I'm going to use him again right now. I don't know why. I like him the best. This one, I don't like his face, but these two are my favorite. But I don't know. I just love it. And I was thinking I'm going to use like a note to say hello, but maybe I should because it's a note, you know, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll work on it in a second. Okay. But I am going to use the one with the bird because it's my favorite and I just love it. Okay. You guys might wonder why I leave the rubber in here. It's so I know I'm not missing any stamps. Honestly, that's why I keep the rubber inside. I keep the full piece of rubber. I know some of my friends, most of my friends just stick it straight onto the case like that. But I am worried I'm going to lose one of my stamps. So the OCD in me has me keep the outline so that I can put them back in place like a puzzle. Then I know, oh, I'm missing this. And especially like this little bird, one would easily be misplaced if I'm not paying attention. And oh, this is one I colored before. And so that'll tell me some of the stuff I don't want to use because Yeah, that's a little dark. Yeah. So I usually will leave like the guide. So I'll probably stamp out another one and do a guide. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, and these dies here are the something fancy dies. So we're going to be using one of these. I think we're probably going to be using this rectangle because we need to make sure that it's big enough for my rhino. Ooh, I don't know if it's big enough. Let me grab one. Let me grab a cut one. We can't use the, well, I guess I could just darken it. Let's see. Let's see if it'll fit. It might not fit. It's pretty close. I think it'll barely fit. I wonder if this one will be better. No, this one's narrower. I was trying to find another one that was wide, but we might have to just do a circle or something. Or a square. Where are my squares? And circles. I think we could try it. It just looks like it might not work. Yeah, the squares are too big, and the circles are okay. They're not really what I want. I'm gonna try it. Let's just stamp one and see. Worst case, I stamp this and it turns out it's not what I want. Oh yeah, he just barely fits. Okay, so we can use that die. Okay, we just have to be careful and making sure that he gets all the way on there. Okay, good. So we need this one. So before we get started, let's just cut out some, we need to cut out this with the very vanilla. So I'm just gonna use my mini Stampin' Cut Emboss. I have some dies already ready. Okay, so someone taught me a trick that I need to label one of my two clear ones as the top, because what happens is as you're using them over and over again, they get these like scratches on them. But as I'm moving closer, can you see the leftover paper? Because see, like the paper gets like embedded into the scratches. If you see that bit of color, so sometimes I'll put on a piece of white and the white will get stained sometimes by these little scratches. But most importantly, the foil will get scratches on it because this has scratches on it. Now you can fix that by putting a piece of paper over the top, but someone was told me that actually if you just try and make sure that this one stays the clean one, you're fine. And I just thought that was kind of interesting because it's not going to like be a bad thing to do that. And you can still keep flipping it. You just know that this one is the one that always goes on top, and that's why. So even if it starts bending and stuff, you know that this one is still going to be the clean one that doesn't get scratched. Anyway, it was just something that someone showed me. All right, I already cut out my notebook paper, so I just need to cut out my labels. Okay, so we'll cut out a couple labels. That way we have backup. Not sure what we're going to do for our sentiment, but like how we'll do our sentiment. But we'll work that out. I'm just going to cut out like 3 of these, and that way I have enough for our card and the backup card that I have. I don't know if that cut. I think it might not have cut all the way. Oh, it did. Good. I had shifted. So here's what I mean. See how this one left the impression on the bottom, but this one stayed clean. You see, this one has the impression of the cuts and this one just stays clean, which I thought, oh, that's smart. So anyway, it's not a bad thing that it leaves cuts. That's very normal. It's this, that's what this does. That's what the dies are for, you know. Oops, I forgot my little white block. Come on. All right, I think that's enough. I think that's all I need of the vanilla for that. And I don't think I'll need any other label, at least out of here. If you know, if I take another label, I might actually take it from like, I don't know, something else. We'll see. All right, so we've got our, where'd the other one go? I cut out 3. Seriously? One, 2. Well, I guess I just have 2. I cut out 3. I know they're right here. Duh. Come on. Oh, well. So I already cut out this one, and this one has the notebook paper edging. I already did that one, but I had to do this one on the large Stamp Cut and Emboss to get the notebook because this is too big. The small machine, the mini Stamp Cut and Emboss is only for 3-inch wide pieces, basically like 3 1/4 inch wide pieces. So this was a little too big. If it was a smaller piece, I might have gotten away with it. And then we've got this. So let's go ahead and stamp our rhino, and then we'll get to stamping everything else. Well, I'm going to worry about the sentiment last. Okay, let's get our rhino in black. And I'm using black because we're going to color it with blends. Okay, he went off a little bit on that one. That's why I cut a couple. But he's right on the edge, but he'll do. Okay. All right. I think that's all we need of black. So then what I wanted to do is I wanted to stamp. And when you're using these colors, when you're using the classic, these are water-based colors. So when you're using the alcohol with the water-based, they tend to bleed a little bit. So it's better to use the black Memento ink. So we're using that for our rhino. And for stamping my little notes on here, I think I'm going to use, I was going to use this early espresso, but this is so close to black. I think it's going to be too dark. And we're going to be using this color, right? So I think that this, so this is our layout, my bad. We're going to have this gold against, and see, this will pick up the color here. And then we're going to have this piece. Oh, this is too big. Oh, this is way too big. This needs to be smaller. I'm glad I checked that before I did it. This is like way too big. All right, so I need it to, I want it to be like at an angle, I think. Am I wrong? Like, I took this idea from somebody else. So let me look at it to see. And they didn't have the measurements, so I was guessing the measurements. Okay, I think this is like another 1/4 inch smaller. So this was 3/4 inch. So let me put this a little smaller, and let's see. And this is at 5, so let's do it at 4 3/4. Let's do it this way so I don't have the whole. So we'll do it at 4 4.5 instead of 4 3/4. Oh, I cut that even more. So that is 3.5 by 4.5, which is even smaller than I planned, but that's okay. Let's see how it looks. I think it'll look better having it, yeah. But that's even too large. Gosh, it's like too big. It's too wide. I wonder if they had a different size paper, because maybe if they're in another country, sometimes when people are in other countries, their cards are a little different size. I don't know the other, it's because it's like an imperial measurement. I guess that works. No, that'll work. So 3.5 and 4.5. So 4.5. I'm trying to avoid having like the half piece, like half of a whole is what I was. So 4.5 and 3.5. That works. It looks a little larger than I planned, but I think it's proportionate. Let's see if that's right. Okay. I told you, I was trying to make a sample before we started, but honestly, I took a nap because I was so tired. Thanks for watching. I'm not sure who's watching, but I always appreciate it when you guys watch. You guys are amazing. I'm so grateful for your support, and, just love you guys. And I'm just grateful when you guys are just, it's just good. So, all right. So I'm going to stamp 2 cards at one time because I can. All right. Well, actually, I won't waste your time with that, but here we go. Okay. So we'll do the field notes here. I want this visible. I'm going to stamp my field notes. Oh yeah, that looks good. And see how it's all speckled? Then I'm going to stamp my grid paper. Just I don't want my mouse. I'm going to stamp my grid paper. I just got it on my hand. I'm going to stamp it off to the side here. And some of this will get covered up. So like, oh, I got a halo there. Darn, I inked it a little too much. Okay. And then I've got this little speckle stamp, which I like. And so what's fun to do with this little speckle stamp is you stamp off and you stamp on. Stamp off and stamp on. And it just kind of dirties up the paper. And you can stamp even a 3rd time to get a little bit more. And so I just want to make this a little like, almost like a collage. Okay. Then, okay, I'm going to set that aside. There we go. Set that so I don't get that inked. Then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dirty this up a little bit, like make it look worn and torn. So one way to make it look worn is you take your bone folder and you go along the edge of your card stock, and it just kind of bends up the edges. But on this side here, I especially want it rough. So, oh, come on. Someone had given me, they had made this little, I forget who it was. They had made this little ladybug, and it had a candy in it, a little ladybug pouch for me. So I keep my little nail file. Someone gave me this little heart-shaped nail file. I have no idea where it came from, but someone gave it to me. And so a good way to get this all roughed up is to use a nail file against the edge. And it just kind of, because you want it a little crinkly, you want it a little bit like roughed. And so you can use between the bone folder, I don't want to rip the little perforated area. So I'm trying to be a little careful, but I don't want to be too careful. I do want it to look like old paper. And then we're going to do even more to make it look like old paper. So just hang on. Okay. And you know, you could also tear, oh, look at adding the sandpaper against the bone folder side makes it look really worn and torn. So do the bone folder first, live and learn. I always knew that you could use both, but use the bone folder first to get it nice and bent. And then use that sandpaper. Oh yeah, because it's kind of like tearing the paper apart a bit. And I really want the corners to not be so clean. I might tear one of them. That one I'll leave. But I might tear this one. There we go. Really bend it. There we go. Just pull at it. Because you want it to look worn. Okay? So this is like a Jungle Cruise inspired card. I think you guys will get the inspiration when you see it finished. I mean, I think you can get a little bit of the idea. So we've got the early espresso is what I've used before. I don't know. I don't want to use pecan pie again. Let's try the crumb cake and see how the crumb cake looks when it's dirty. I think the crumb cake might be enough. Yeah, I think the crumb cake will dirty it up enough. If I use the pecan pie, it's just going to match. I worry that it's going to, you see, it's going to match it too much and it's a little too dark. Okay. So I'm going to wipe this. Well, you're not really wiping it off, but try and get some of the excess ink off. Just a bit. So I tried it with the pecan and it's just too dark. But I think the crumb cake will be enough to dirty this paper a little bit more. I'm just wanting to make sure the pecan is off. Okay. Okay. And so I always start off the paper and then start on because what'll happen is you'll get like a little line. I'm not the best at this, but you can already see a difference in look at the difference between this side and this side. You know, this side looks so clean compared to that side. I love making paper look dirty. I just think it's a fun technique. Even though I'm not oh, I just got it all over the edge. Oh, I don't want to I don't want to rip the perforation. Got to be careful. I like that perforated part. So. Yeah, I think that looks good. It adds a little bit. Just adds that little bit of like coffee tea type stain to the paper so it looks like an old note. And let me grab a quick Kleenex here. Before I put my hand in this. I know myself. Might have already put my hand in it. No. Good. Okay. So that was crumb cake to make it look dirty. And so we're good there. We actually should do the same thing to the inside. I don't know if we want to make the inside dirty. Well, I guess we do. So I won't rough it up as much, but I'm going to rough up the inside of the card just a tiny bit. Just so that it looks a little bit more, because you don't want the inside of the card to be all nice and clean and then the outside be perfect either. Okay. It doesn't have to be super extensive. And I didn't use crumb cake as the... I didn't use crumb cake as the inside of the card because, I don't know, I just didn't want it. I don't really like crumb cake color. It's fine. It's just kind of looks like sand. But it just makes it look a little dirty. And actually we'll do the same with our little rhino. We'll make him a little dirty. I'm not going to rough up the edges, but I do want to make sure that his he's not a bright vanilla against the dirty paper. So I didn't even have to keep re-inking for this one because I wanted to keep it light. So you see, I still managed to get quite a bit of ink on there. Look at how bright the vanilla is next to the one. It's funny, you think you're not putting any ink on it because it looks so faint, but it's just enough. So, and even with this one, so, and that's all I needed was just enough to make it look dirty. Okay, and then I actually just keep I only have a couple brushes, and I just keep them all in this little Ziploc that they came in. I know they have a little holder, and so I've got one that's red, one that handles like all the blue. Like this one was for red and I think purple or something. And this one's the one for all the brown. I've used brown the most, and then I have some daubers in here that I've used a few times. So, okay. We're done with all that. So, okay, I did get it on my finger now. All right. Okay. Let me grab some alcohol wipes. And I just put my brand new little paper pumpkin workspace. Now, don't forget it's Celebration. Oh, and starting yesterday, they have a whole bunch of new free Celebration stuff when you make a $50 order, which is amazing. And so, really good deals. So you should check it out. Okay. So I think we're done with all of our dirtiness. Okay. I think that's all good. Okay, so we're going to take our colored, and so we're going to do, I want to do for the, so I think this one's 800. Hold on. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I've got like a mess going on over here. Okay. Because I had stamped a little too hard. I think my pecan pie ink was like a little juicy. Because see, it's like all over the edge of the stamp, and I just got it all over a bunch of like stuff. So I'm just going to clean it off real quick so that I don't stain my card or the paper I'm going to pull out or whatever. So at least all that's clean. Okay. Done. Okay. Yeah, because like the ribbon just fell into it, and I need the 800. That is the wrong one. So this one is 1,000, so that's 9. This one's 800. This one is the one that I tend to use on the horn. It's like just a neutral tan, but then I add a light, not the dark. I add a light gray granite. Yeah. See, because like light slate is a dark gray, almost like a black, and light gray granite is pretty light. And then I mix the two together, and they make this nice little brown. It's like a nice little perfect brown. Okay, so that's light slate. And see, I want this to be And I think, let me grab my, I think I want 500 on the edge. So 8, 6, 5. Yeah. So I'm adding a little more brown than I would, but I'll add a little bit of brown and a little bit of gray together. So we'll take the dark. Okay, we're done with that. So let me mix this with the dark gray and see how it looks. It's not on vanilla, but let's see how it looks together. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to color the whole body of my rhino with light gray granite. I'm doing the light first so the dark can stand out. Oops. I'm going to use the brush tip. I think the tip of my brush is a little messed up. Normally, I think the brush split a little bit. And so it's still picking up. I'm going to put the dark gray granite right here at the base of the rhino horn. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of the dark gray on all the little, it's like the wrinkles, you know, where he's got his knees and like just little, and also just shading edges of his, like I like shading the edge of the chin and even like the belly a little bit. I think it gives like a nice touch. Then I'm going to take the brown on top of that and add a little bit of brown with it. Just on the wrinkles for this situation. A little bit of color lifter. A little bit off. So that's, I just needed a little color lifter. I went outside the lines a little bit. And let's see, I think I need a little bit more color here. And for the tail, I'm going to use like a dark gray granite. And for the little nails, I'm going to use the brown, just the straight. This is number 600. I meant to grab 500, but I grabbed 600, I guess. I want this to blend a little better. Oops, that's dark. No, that's light. So I put the light over the dark gray to get it to blend a little bit better. So there's our little rhino colored. Okay, I'm going to color the bird. I'm just not sure what. I feel like his ears need a little something. Let's add a little brown to the ears. Just make them a little different. And the same with the tail. Okay, So I used, on the horn, I used 800 with the light gray granite. That was for the horn. I used the light gray granite for his whole body. Then I used the dark gray granite and number 600 natural blends to color the other parts. And we'll decide on the bird in a minute. So now we've got our base of our card is going to be the gold. Then we're going to put our little notes like catty corner like this. And then we're going to add some twine. And yeah, so let's get that going. Let me get this to fold down. I'm just designing a little bit more on camera than I would have ahead of time because normally I have it all ready for you guys, but I didn't want to be late. And I needed that nap. I sure needed that nap, man. I've been going to bed a little bit late. Not intentionally, just, you know, when you're stressed out, sometimes it's hard to get to sleep, and that's, work has me a little stressed, and so, but if I craft, I'm less stressed out when I craft. So I need to make sure that I craft more to keep the stress at bay. I also had all this trouble trying to get my like medication. Oh my gosh, it took us like, my doctor submitted it 4 times. It was out of control. Okay, so my plan was that we would put the note and then we put our little rhino like right across here. And I have this twine that's the same color as the paper or the cardstock. This is Pebbled Path, by the way. It's one of our in colors that'll be available until next year. So I thought I'd use some of this twine for the, I thought I'd use some twine, but I also think I need some like green. You know what I mean? Like if it's going to be a Jungle Cruise, because see the notes are like the Jungle Cruise. I mean, do you get it? Like Jungle Cruise has like, you know, the little, you know, they have their field notes. I don't know. I don't know. I just think of it like that. So we can add some twine. I just have to figure out how I'm going to add it. But we also need some leaves. So let me grab our die cut machine and let's cut out some leaves with some scrap of green. I think having the green is really going to make everything pop. So let's get our dies and the green. I have all these green, I have green paper scraps that I can always use. There's some old olive. There's some other green. You could even use some brown. The mint is like, yeah, no, the lime green is too much. Yeah. Oh, this is what crumb cake looks like. See, it's such a boring, I don't know. It's just not my favorite. And I think I want to grab, I have this. I want to use that. It's that's Mossy Meadow. I thought I had some scraps of it, but I don't. So I have this, that's like a layer, like an inside layer. Okay. So the field stamp, the Notes of Nature stamp, has all these little dies. Okay, so we'll just run some dies through and see what comes up. I think this one's going to be too big, but let's run this one through with this. Let's run it through with this espresso. I mean, let's just try it and see. It might be what we want. we've got, I'm just going to tear this in half. It's a little too big for my machine. So I got to cut a little piece off. I'm so bummed my little die fell. The cats are gonna find it and play with it. I'll have to move the desk when we're done with our video. I know it fell right underneath the desk. I think if I just slide the desk around a little bit, I'll find it. Or it slid outside the desk on the left side here. I'm gonna cut that again. I like those. I like this color. I think this is a good color for our design. Oh, I should have run it through possibly twice. Sometimes with the really delicate dies like this, you want to run it through more than one time. You don't have to, but sometimes it's helpful to run it through 2 times just so your all the little delicate pieces come off. Oops. Don't move on me. There we go. Don't move. There we go. So I'm going to run it forward and backward to make sure that I have what I need. And then I think I'm going to run this one through on this paper along with this die. And where's the other baby die? There we go. We just need some greenery. And I'll use the greenery on my other card if we don't wind up using it this time. You don't, now when you're going back and forth, you don't want to wait until it goes all the way pop before you go back. Usually you just want to go all the way through and then all the way back. You don't want to wait until it pops, because what will happen is if you go all the way through, you will actually leave, like the die will move on you and you'll need to, you'll cut your paper twice is what'll happen. So yeah, so this video is a little longer than normal. I know we have enough greenery, but I'm just trying to give us options. Okay, and then I don't think I want that. Yeah, I don't want this green. So I think we're good. Let me just grab my, I'm gonna toss these on here. I don't lose them. Well, this one won't really be lost, but okay. So I'm not gonna use that green. Okay. Yeah, this is the one I ran through double, and see, look at how easily it pops out. When you run it through double, it just pops right out. There we go. And so here's our greenery. So we'll go ahead and get our layout. So we've got that. Got like a little piece in the center there. There we go. And then we've got our little rhino, which we colored somewhere. There it is. I was thinking, I don't know if I'd want to use this whole thing, but you could cut it and use pieces of it. This brown actually looks good, but I also feel like I need to pull in some green. So I kind of like that brown. I've got this other green. I don't know if I want that whole thing or maybe just some of it. Let's see. And then where's my sentiment about birthday or something? Gonna go, I don't have any place to put my sentiment. Okay, let's try putting all the pieces here. I think that looks better. What if we put the brown in the center? So it's not going too far up. And then we'll put the greens. Various greens. We might I think because it's the vanilla on the vanilla, let me add some more green on the outside. And let's see about adding that twine. Sometimes just like, oops, you know, where you do like a little swirl, but I don't want it to be like a circle. I want it to be like looped. Let's just set it and see. Okay. That looks good. I just got to figure out where to put my sentiment. I guess I can just put my sentiment on the inside. Okay. That actually looks good, adding the twine. We'll have to figure out how we'll add the twine. And I think I'm going to cut off anything down here. Anything you see below is going to be the, like maybe twine possibly. Okay. So let me get some scissors. And let me just snip off a piece. So I want to be using the long one, just not all of it. Actually, because so it's not so matchy, I should have probably done it. That's okay. So I'll glue that down and then we'll put our little, I'm going to glue this down. I'm just going to glue it across this middle so it still has that like curled up edge. I think this is a long video today. It feels long. I don't know how long it's been, but it just feels long. It's because I didn't have it prepped for you guys ahead of time. I try to make sure I'm prepped. I am glad I had my nap though. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that there. We're going to put this one out to the side here. That one. And that one. And we can even put this little baby one. Tuck it somewhere. So it needs to be a little higher. Let me get these ones arranged first. I want this to be right here. Maybe I want, no, I want it over to this side. Okay, I like that there. So let me grab a little, let me just grab a glue dot. I have all these glue dots from Paper Pumpkin, so I just use them whenever I can. I know some people don't like them, but they're helpful. You could also just use regular glue. Okay. Okay, and then this one we'll have coming out. I was going to have this one coming out the side here. But I don't think I will. I think I'll just have it popping there. You can use any glue you want. I'm just using whatever I have on hand. Everyone has a glue preference. My friend has one of those like giant glue runners. It's huge. My friend Pat. I haven't talked to Pat. I need to message her and see how she's doing. I haven't talked to her. Okay. There we go. And then it's just a tiny bit. And then we'll put the green one right here. Yeah. A little fiddly today. I'm not going to put it on this one. I'm just going to put it down low, the glue dot down low on this one. And that way it pops out a little bit more. You see, it'll be like a little more free. And then we have these little baby, I might tuck this baby one here. We'll see once we get our rhino. And we got to figure out what color we want our rhino. Let me color his little beak. I think I want his beak to be like a light pumpkin pie. And I want him to be, I don't know. Let's see. Let's look at Old Olive. Let's see what Old Olive looks like. I don't know if I want him green. That was, I think, Mossy Meadow. Yeah, that's Mossy Meadow. Let's try Old Olive. I haven't used any Old Olive. Let's try yellow. Yellow looks good. I think yellow will be okay. Because the paper's dark too, so I'm using Daffodil Delight. But that way he doesn't clash with the rest of the design, you know? And then we got to figure out how to put our twine. Oops. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Move it down a little. Whoops. So I needed that one to be moved down a little. Well, I'll put some twine around it. Okay. So now we got to put the big glue dots down to hold this strong twine. So this twine is from the In Color jute trim. That's why, because this is like really strong, like jute twine. So usually what I like to do in this case is I like to do that like loop-de-loop. So let me do the loop-de-loop this way. Let me try and put a glue dot down in the center. And let's see. I'm going to put a glue dot right down. And there, if it stays, well, it picked up a bunch of stuff, so that wasn't so good. Let me take some tweezers and put one down. Okay, there we go. So what I would do is I just press one corner here, and the twine's gonna like twist how it wants. But I see how this little gap here, I just feel like it needed a little something. And let's see if that's enough. Let's see if one loop-de-loop is enough for, shoot. Let's see if that's enough. Should I add the third? No. I think if I'm gonna add another one, it would be like that. Let's see if that's better. So we've got like 2 loops there and 2 loops down there. Yeah, I think the 2 loops is good. And I'm using, these are serrated, these are Ionic Studios Tim Holtz scissors, and they have a serrated edge, so they're really good for cutting something like jute twine. Stampin' Up! Doesn't have a, they have paper scissors. Stampin' Up! Has lots of paper scissors, you know, but when you want to cut something like really thick like this, it's like a burlap, you know, jute twine is like a burlap almost. So let me add a glue dot. It's like a burlap, so you want to make sure you have plenty of, let's stay down, there we go. You want to make sure you have a good scissors to hold it. And then I think, let me make sure. Yeah, let me move it down just a little bit because I don't want them to be identical. And so I'm just manipulating the twine to hold it. See, it's not like a perfect loop-de-loop. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to look like that. And it needs a little something else here. I've got a little cork. Let's grab some dimensionals. Thanks for watching, my faithful one watcher. I appreciate it. Oh, let's see if it'll, oh no. I have to be careful where I put my, I have to be careful where I put my dimensionals because okay, that's good. So I can put one right there. One right there. I want one right there. So I just kind of feel around to where, because if you put a dimensional on top of the twine, it makes your label like really bumpy. So, especially the jute, like it's so thick. I'm so happy it's Friday. I want that one on top of, or maybe let's grab this one and put this one on top. Or is there another one that's green? This one. No, that's too big. This needs to be a little more delicate. I think I'm going to put this one, I'm going to put a glue dot on the bottom of this one. I just like the idea of tucking one to where it's going to go up over the jute just a tiny bit, just one. You know, the other ones I think were fine. And they have some dimension, like this one's above. Okay, so now see all this extra space around. This is where it would have been nice if I could have put a sentiment around it. Maybe I should have stamped this on crumb cake. Maybe that would have been wiser, but oh well. Okay, so what I do have is I have a few different embellishments we can add. Okay, those would be good. Those might work. No. Maybe And then I also got some cork. My friend gave me cork, but I don't know where I put it. I don't see it. My friend gave me some cork that I could use. And I showed you guys on the last card we were doing, but I don't know if these are current, but these, no, I don't want these sequins, no. Okay. Oh, here's the cork. I just was whipped past it. So we have a couple options of I'm actually already thinking that these green would be good because they're going to pick up there, because we could try the butterflies, but no. And the cork, I think, is maybe just too much. But I do think this green, this old olive, would be good. These are the speckled dots. I'm pretty sure they're still available because I'm pretty sure I went through and checked that these were still available. These would be good to add because they're going to add something else, and we could even add the neutral ones here. Let's open it and see. Let's see. And so let's put our greenery to the side and our glue to the side. Someone was saying they had a different way to open those. Okay, so we could use the brown or we can use the green. I think the green, I love the green. And it just adds a little something. And these ones actually can make a little Mickey Mouse head. Cute. So I should have maybe put these ones as like a different, no, that's good. It's still an odd number. Okay, done. Then on the inside, I'm going to stamp our little, we can stamp our sentiment, but I also want to stamp a bird. I think I'm going to stamp a couple birds all along the bottom. Yeah. Let me get my Daffodil Delight again. And I'm going to use pumpkin pie for the beak. I used the light pumpkin pie the first time, but I'm making it dark. And then we're going to use Daffodil Delight. I should start with the dry one. It's just a fun little surprise on the inside of your card. You could have also put grass or whatever. I think this card turned out good. Most of my friends that watch are actually at retreat. My friend Candy does these retreats. I thought about doing them, but I don't think physically it's just something that's the best for myself. I kind of am debating. I don't know what I'll put sentiment. I might just wait on the sentiment, but this card could actually be a variety. I could have it be a birthday, or I hope you guys get the Jungle Cruise inspiration. With our dirty inside. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. I feel like it needs one more little bird. But I don't know if it'll fit. No, I think it'll go off the... I think if I turn it, it'll fit. Yeah. I just needed one more. That was Dark Pumpkin Pie and Dark Daffodil Delight. I didn't have to color the little birds, but... And I could have made them brown. I don't know. I just think they're... The yellow adds a little something without it being a total clash. Oh my gosh. Look how cute that turned out. And look at how, I wasn't sure about the gold. I like this card actually more than I thought I would. It turned out better than I imagined. I love the field notes in the back, but also I love that this gold, even though yes, it's gold, the shine on it adds such a, you know, and I didn't add an extra layer. Normally I would have added a layer on top of this. But you need to have the full layer because of the width of this, the field notes. And then the little rhino, it just makes it fun. I don't know, the Mickey head is cute too. I guess I could have done it as like a little hidden Mickey over here. So cute. I think that turned out good. Loving it. And then there's the inside. So that's our card today. It was a lot more fussy than I expected. I think this was like an hour long. Oh my gosh, hour. I've been on for an hour. Oh my gosh. That is a long video. I hope you guys fast forward through what was boring. Sorry about that. But that's what you get when you're doing it live, you know, and creating live. Normally I try to make them shorter. That's cute. Super cute. All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye.